Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. In the times of COVID 19, a lot of people are at home and waiting for stimulus checks to help boost their income. There are people with bad credit and who are in debt. By cleaning your credit, you may give yourself an opportunity to free yourself up from bad debt and have more money in your pockets. If you like this information to know how to free yourself from this debt and hopefully put more money in your pockets, please call 862-250-5122 or you can go to www.transparentcreditrepair.com. Tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you and you will be rewarded with something special. On this episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, it is my pleasure to interview somebody I've studied and look up to when it comes to podcasting, commentary, and interview. A little bit more about me later, but for this one, this was like a bucket list dream for me to be able to talk to this gentleman, and I hope after this interview we can still connect and talk many times over. For the Bible says when you find a man of wisdom, you wear out his doorsteps. It's for you to take it upon yourself, not only to ask questions, but to learn from the examples and learn that person's genius, And I got the opportunity to talk to somebody I consider a hero in hip-hop culture. That man is Doggie Diamonds of ForbesDVD.com, DoggieDiamondsTV.com, and the No Filter podcast on all streaming services available. Please take the time to learn and get the many jewels in this interview. And I will return with the rest of my commentary.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Correa from Heritage Hip Hop. And if you haven't been watching Heritage Hip Hop, you corny, you lost, and you missing what real hip hop culture is built on. And that's paying homage and giving respect to those who've put in the work that you benefit from. And on the line today, I have somebody who's one of my heroes and one of the benchmarks that I wanted to obtain to be a real part of this hip hop foundation. Please introduce yourself to the people.
I go by the name of Doggie Diamonds, a.k.a. the Interview King. What's up, everybody?
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to finally get to talk to you, make it official. Before we start the interview, to everybody out there, once again, Heritage Hip Hop was not made to talk about beats and rhymes exclusively. Hip Hop is worldwide, and hip hop is everything. Your beats, your rhymes, how you dress, how you talk, your health, politics, socialism, all that. So I wanted to make sure I bring to y'all people who really built this culture and keep the culture respectable. So with that being said, once again, Doggie Diamonds, how are you hip hop and not a person that does hip hop?
Hip hop is the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress. That's what makes culture. Your slang. The way the way you wear your hat is hip hop, and I'm hip hop because I started out as a DJ, just playing records, and my uncles used to play records, my aunt played records, and my aunt had she didn't have the greatest turntables ever, but she was playing records around the house, and then I just fell in love with music from there. And then you had this thing called hip hop, and I remember being little and just hear the hip hop, the hippie, the hip, hearing rappers alike, and you think the first few songs of the record is the hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So from right there, it was just like, okay, I guess this is hip hop. So that was Rappers Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang, and then you just from there you like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? And then you find out growing up that it's Good Times by Chic, it's the same music and all that. So just me being hip hop is just everything about me. I'm gonna tell y'all something crazy. When I used to walk down the street, I wouldn't step on the lines on the streets because the lines on the streets was a snare, and in between the lines was the kick. So when you deal with beats and you do quantizing, you got something called the triplet. So you got 1/8. That's just like 1/4 is 1/16 is. So when you do a triplet, it's a note in between there. So when you do your kick, I used to do my kicks on the SB200 116 triplet. So I would never step on the snare because I would be off beat. So when I walked down the street, I never stepped on the crack. So that's how hip hop I was. That I wouldn't even step on the damn cracks. that's how hip hop I was, you know.
Yo, that's dope because you put your hip hop in perspective of your everyday living, not just something that you turn on. I respect
Oh,
that.
okay. Yes.
And I mean, coming from New York, I always refer to New York as the Game of Thrones because it's like every borough is a kingdom and they got their own identity.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And like, you may be in the same country, but you don't represent the same land. What makes Brooklyn the standard of hip hop?
I think it's just the mentality of Brooklyn. Brooklyn and the Bronx is very, very, very alike. Because of the warrior mentality of the individuals that live there. If you watch the movie called The Warriors, it was they had to go to the Bronx to meet the biggest gang and the biggest leader of the biggest gang, which was Cyrus. And then, you know, all the ruckus took place, and then they had to make it all the way from the Bronx back to Brooklyn. You know, the movie called The Warriors. And Brooklyn is just a place where, you know, it's so rough and it's so competitive, and everybody doesn't get along in Brooklyn. You know, you got projects. I don't think that that's just a Brooklyn thing, but you have projects where these buildings right across the street hate these buildings right here. So the battle for supremacy of Brooklyn has always been there, you know, and dudes don't get along, and it's just a home of, you know, unfortunately, Brooklyn, you know, there's a lot of robberies, a lot of assaults take place in Brooklyn. So if you're not sharp with your MCing, if you're not sharp with your DJing, if you wasn't sharp with your breakdancing, you possibly could have got beat up, punched in your face, or robbed or something like that. You know, even with your 5% lessons at one point, you couldn't just come amongst people who take it serious and just spew anything. So Brooklyn was just always, everybody's serious in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is serious in Brooklyn. So that's why I believe, and I don't believe, I know that Brooklyn birthed the best MCs ever.
Brooklyn versus the best MCs ever.
Ever.
That's debatable. I think that's debatable.
Well,
we'll get into that.
I've had people who try to debate with me on it, but you know, like I said, I'm here for it. I don't really like debates. I only like debates when we could come to an understanding, agree to disagree,
of course.
or you know.
Right.
But I think some debates are unhealthy, and it's just ongoing. But you know, I'm all for Brooklyn, so I'm definitely going to
You're going with the home team.
But even if I wasn't from Brooklyn, I still would be like, nah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn in Jersey has a secret love affair that goes, I guess, beyond certain people's understanding. But there's always been a competition with MCs, bars, beats, and everything. And that's the major thing that makes, to me, Brooklyn so Brooklyn, is that no matter where you from, someone will always represent Brooklyn, and the bop that they walk with speaks for itself. Brooklyn has an identity that most people in hip-hop don't understand unless you're an underdog fighting for respect. And it seems like Brooklyn has always been fighting for respect, and they had the crown many more times than they didn't. Who is the person that personifies Brooklyn hip-hop to you? If you had to give somebody an example to study, who would you give them?
It's a lot of people. But I will always start with Big Daddy Kane.
He's your favorite MC, right?
My favorite MC of all time is Big Daddy Kane. I think Big Daddy Kane is the birth of many things that come from Brooklyn, because Brooklyn, I think, is like a tree, and then you have the root, and then you have the branches and the fruit from the tree. So Big Daddy Kane, birthed many styles and many MCs from Brooklyn, but you can go different ways, because you could go one way with Kane, and then you can go all the way to like a Sean Price. Like two different sides of the spectrum, but if they was both on the cipher rapping, and Kane was in his prime and Sean Price was alive, then they would relate. You know what I mean? So Brooklyn just has that, that cipher rapping and that tough, but I would go with Big Daddy Kane, and I think Big Daddy Kane is, got slept on because he was a little ahead of his time. He seen where the game was going, but it wasn't ready to go when he was ready to go. So he stepped out a little too fast, but where he wanted to go with it is there right now. So it's right where he wanted to go with it. What he foresaw is happening right now.
Yeah, he's a trendsetter by far. My introduction to hip hop was more militant, but the major arguments around my brother's people's more fact, because he's older than me, was who's better, Big Daddy Kane or LL Cool J. So even when you said that, here's a question I really wanted to ask you. People always say from the Big Daddy Kane tree, you get Biggie and Jay-Z, etc.
Facts.
But who was Brooklyn before Raw came out? What was, before Big Daddy Kane, what exactly was the personification of Brooklyn then?
See, now we might be going a little too far back because I'm not old enough to say I'm not old enough to say who was before that. Because remember when he came out, I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when Kane was popping, I was young. So I wouldn't know who was before that. I mean, you have people before him, because we keep forgetting people like Houdini is from Brooklyn. The Fat Boys is from Brooklyn. It is different people that's from Brooklyn. And forgive me if I'm leaving anybody out. Do not stone me. Do not tar and feather me. But it did. So, but Kane, let me tell you what it was for Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane looked like the drug dealer. So he looked like what you wanted to be because he looked like the hustler. It just so happened that he rapped. He was fly. When you look at other rappers, what makes people gravitate towards them is if they fly. Now, for example, Mos Def could rap his ass off. One of the greatest MCs ever. I'm talking about bars and just style and just a cipher, whatever. But you don't want to be like him. And I know this is very juvenile and materialistic, but it just is what it is, because that's what hip hop started. So even with Rakim, with him, having 5% lessons and after a while and stuff, he still was fly though. So his haircut was fly. He had on the dopest sneakers. He had on the dopest jogging suit. He had on the best track suit. He had on, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at him, you're like, damn, look at this. Look at that chain. That's the difference. So Big Daddy Kane had the cameo. He had a haircut, a flat top. He made everybody get a haircut a certain way. Everybody had parts in their hair. They had parts in their eyebrows. They was doing things, and that's what it was for him. He was a trendsetter with the way he looked, the way he rapped. You gotta remember, Big Daddy Kane was 21 rapping like that. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like it because, that's before we knew that age was going to be a big thing in hip-hop. But he was 21 years old. So he's rapping like this, and he's saying stuff, and you like, wow, but the beat is dope. You know what I'm saying? He's dancing.
Yeah.
He got routines with the dancing. He got fly jewelry. He got fly girls in the car. He got fly girls in the video. It was just so much with him. So that was the first person that I looked at and was like, oh, wow, dude is crazy. And, Ain't No Half Steppin' is my favorite song of all time. So you sitting there, you watching Video Music Box, and then you just hear Raw come on, the eyes come on, Kane stand there, and you just hear,
Yeah.
Then that beat come in, and it's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And people don't know, the person, if you look at Ain't No Half Steppin' video, and you look at there's a part where he's holding the championship belt. That's Mark Breland next to him. Mark Breland is from Brooklyn too. Mark Breland is also
fighter.
Yeah, that's also Deontay Wilder's former trainer.
Wow.
People don't realize that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot that comes with when you look at stuff, you be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But Kane was just, man, listen, everybody had the flat top in Brooklyn. Everybody, just like how, think about the trendsetters. Jay-Z had everybody wearing jerseys at one point. Then everybody was wearing button-ups. But Jay-Z had Kane had Jay-Z with the parts in his hair and the flat top and the gold fronts and all that. You know what I'm saying? Biggie too. Biggie had everybody wearing the Coogis at one point, and the little Kangos and all that. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at stuff like that, the trends that was set from artists, that was big. But Kane was like one of the first ones. Just like, you know, because when you look at stuff again, Duke could be an incredible MC, but they don't have no real style with them. And style, fashion, and hip hop is all one. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at hip hop and you look at Beat Street, or even if you look at some of the old pictures, dudes had on the BBDs, they had on the sheepskins, they had the shell toes, they had the Pumas. That was all hip hop. That was all a part of hip hop. So Big Daddy Kane was the first person to have all the elements of hip hop surrounding him, in him, that I noticed from my borough. So he had the DJ, he had the dancers, he had he was fly, he had the jewelry, he had the clothes. You know what I'm saying? He had the raps. He had the dope beats. That was everything hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always go to Kane first.
Respect. I want to ask you something as a Big Daddy Kane fan, because this is something I've always wanted to ask Big Daddy Kane fans. What made Big Daddy Kane dope to me was not his music or his style. It was the simple fact that he always got compared to as a benchmark. Like, people talk about KRS-One when it comes to consciousness or Public Enemy, right? Big Daddy Kane was always the benchmark of, can you rhyme with flow and technique, not just wordplay? And even on the damn symphony, it was always compared, whose verse was better, Cool G Rap or Big Daddy Kane? Because they are when the song, I mean, no disrespect to Craig G and Master Ace, and you know what I'm saying, because they did their thing too. But it was that personified the first ever rap battle I ever witnessed. Because it was like a beef battle. It was you on the same track, and the competition was so fierce. Who had the best verse? What makes you? Who do you think has the best verse and why?
On that particular song?
That one song.
The Symphony?
Yes.
Cool G Rap. Cool G Rap had the best verse. I mean, but Cool G Rap, Achilles' heel has always been that lisp. So his enunciation is not as clean as Kane is. You know what I'm saying? But I always give that to G Rap. You know what I'm saying? G Rap is hard to beat on any song. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who you are. To this day, you still could lose to G Rap if you're on a song with him. But on that song, I definitely would give it to I would give that to G Rap. You know what I'm saying? But Kane definitely wasn't no slouch on that. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, one of the greatest. Because we got to remember too, Kane's voice was ill. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this dude is like a 5'2" MC. You know, a dude that got bars, that got style, that got flow, that got cadence, and got an ill voice. You know what I'm saying? And you hear every word, you know, crisp down your ear, crisp and clear, as I prepare to wear tears, then I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I got to break down a Kane, you know, verse. Like, it was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I interviewed Big Daddy Kane, I didn't even want to do interviews no more. I was like, yo, man, like, that's it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this, you know, is no higher. It's no higher than Kane, which I went on to do probably like hundreds or more after that. But I had to really think about it because I'm like, you know, yo, I just met, this is the second time I met him, but I just interviewed somebody who I idolize. And that's, you know, that could be very, very tough because then you set a bar for yourself like, man, I can't be interviewing no bums after Kane. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, you can't go from the mountaintop from Kane, you know what I'm saying, to Joe Schmo on the corner. You can't be doing that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and see that's why talking to you is very prevalent because I think we're on a similar path, and you're somebody I'm learning from because with these type of questions that I'm asking you, it's just to set the groundwork for the people who may not know you to know that you came up in hip hop as a fan, but you have become a a linchpin in the fabric of hip hop by going towards media. What made you actually get into the media side and not DJ as much?
I used to do interviews in the mirror because I always wanted to get on. I always pictured myself being on Video Music Box one day. So I used to do interviews in the mirror, and kind of ask myself questions and answer them because I never wanted to get stumped. I never wanted to look stupid. You'd be put on the spot. So I used to always stay prepared, and I would ask myself stuff, and then I was like, well, you ask yourself these things, you could ask somebody else these type of questions because I wonder what they would say. I wonder what their take would be. And before I went to the left the DJing thing, I actually went full-time producer. You know what I'm saying? Full-time beat maker. So that was what I went to before media. But how I got into that to media from producing is that when my group, when we used to do rehearsal, because I believe in rehearsing and everything. I believe in having, a tight show, just having everything being, on point. So when I seen Mike Tyson say he used to watch film, and I used to always hear sports figures say they watching film. So when I hear that they watch film on what they're doing or, what they working on, that made me say, well, we got to watch film too. We got to study what we did. We got to study what's going on. So from there, I started videotaping everything. So from videotaping all of our shows and then sitting back and watching the shows like, you missed the ad-lib right there, or on that part, don't say that. You see how you running out of breath. I would watch it like a game tape, like a fight tape, So from there, I got a camera. So from the camera, you start filming little things and then you realize, hold on, this is like a DVD. This is like, so then it's birth right there. You know what I'm saying? The whole media aspect is birth right there because you're doing media. It just so happen that you're doing it for yourself, so that's what started that, just from wanting to document what we were doing as far as, rehearsing and everything.
Were you in media when the Bad Boy Biggie Roz came up, or were you still in the music part of it?
I still was in the music part of it. You know what I'm saying? I still was in the music part of it. I still had a camera though. Man, if I had recorded some of the things that I could have recorded, like, they say if you know now, if you knew then what you know now, things would be different. Yeah, definitely that, because I would have had some of the craziest rap sessions ever, but I didn't know, I didn't know that it would be the way it is now. And then by the time I figured out that it was going to go where it was going, I was already like ahead of the curve. But I missed maybe like a good 5 years of greatness in hip hop that I could have documented. And, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what one of the main questions I wanted to ask you is because when you have so many stories, you had to have seen a lot to be able to talk from it from a very educated and well-rounded perspective. What was one of the biggest moments in hip-hop that made you develop the media mind besides your personal development into media?
I think really just watching Video Music Box. Like, this was being documented, right before our eyes. Like, Video Music Box, shout out and all. And I'm like, yo, wow. Like, he's right. Sometimes they might be, in little clubs and little stuff that's in my neighborhood, so I'm like, yo, wow, they right there, they're on, cause you gotta remember, before the internet, they're on TV. Now we all could get on the internet, we all could get on YouTube, we could do stuff and have thousands of people watching us. But now, before the internet, they're on TV. So it's like, yo, they're on TV, that's a big deal, So just seeing that was just big, like seeing shows. I remember seeing was known as an EPK, Nas EPK for Illmatic album. He's on Video Music Box, and I remember they was playing some of the songs, and I hear these chords from Pete Rock, "The World Is Yours," and I'm like, yo, what the hell is that? And Mr. Nas EPK. So I just remember that, and I'm like, yo, man, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to document I would love for people to see, what's going on. So from right there, that was like big moments. And then, I remember being at the New Music Seminar in was that 93 or 92? Not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when Dodge Effects come out. And mind you, I'm so young, I don't even belong in these clubs or these events. I'm almost supposed to have parental supervision or parental permission to get in, because I'm that young, you know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing Dodge Effects. This is when Dodge Effects is one of the top groups and they're performing, and I'm like, yo. Then Large Professor and Main Source get on stage and perform Faking the Funk. Then Cypress Hill get on stage and perform all their songs, Killer Man and all that. And I'm like, yo, like I really just experienced one of the illest hip hop moments, and you live in it, so you don't realize it till later on in life. You say, yo, man, I witnessed such and such. But I think at Easy Mo B party too, seeing Big Daddy Kane perform Ain't No Half Steppin' Live for the first time, I was like, yo, that's it. That's it. It's just like, yo, man, if I pass away tonight, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it is what it is, man. Yeah, because I just seen, hip hop, I don't think gives people that feeling anymore. I don't think people get that feeling of, yo, man, I just witnessed some of the, one of the greatest moments in hip hop ever, because now people are whipping out their phones. They're not enjoying the moment of hip hop. They're not enjoying the history. Like, yo, man, Jay-Z performs and he brings Cameron out. And they perform Welcome to New York City. And instead of people dancing and bopping their head, got their phone in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's cool. I'm a person too. I like to document stuff. But I'm documenting it because, I own a website, I own a YouTube, so it serves a purpose. How are you not dancing and enjoying the moment of something historical that just happened that you thought would never take place and you on your phone? Record a couple of minutes of it. That's cool, but dance, party, bop your head, sing along with it. Like, it's like now you like a fish in a fishbowl and everybody just standing there looking. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do miss, because I remember, like, man, the moments like, yo, hold on, who just came out? You know what I'm saying? I remember the Jay-Z show at the Garden when he was on tour with R. Kelly. R. Kelly left the tour. I was going to the next show the next day, and R. Kelly left the tour. So Jay-Z brings out all these people, and I'm like, yo, Mace runs out and performs Feel So Good. I'm like, yo, I just wasn't expecting that. So I saw Mace live. I saw Freeway. When Freeway used to come out and do that What We Do, the building used to shake. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. So those moments, I witnessed, I saw, you know what I'm saying? Not to mention, being in the crib with Biggie rapping and doing songs with him and stuff like that. That's a whole different moment. But, just from a fan point of view, I saw moments and I'll never forget that. And I still cherish it. I still talk about it to this day like it happened yesterday, because it was a good moment. I think people, because of social media and technology, they forgot to enjoy what it is that they're seeing. You know what I'm saying? They forgot to enjoy it because they're too busy. Everybody's trying to showboat and they got their camera and, yeah, I got this footage, or I filmed this. People film people getting hit by cars and stuff. So there is no limit to what people film these days. But yeah, those are some of the moments in hip hop that, man, I just remember like yesterday. Like, I'll never forget.
Man, the thing about hip hop today is not one of non-appreciation. I think a lot of the people who were in charge didn't pass on the torch. And they didn't even drop the ball. They still tucking the ball, trying to run with it and hold on and squeeze the bitch dry. Part of my language. And the reason why I say that is because I think the technology is an aid, but ultimately it's a deterrent to what the hip hop culture is. In your opinion, If we had the technology we have now back in the 90s, do you think 90s hip-hop would have been better or worse?
For some of the moments captured, it would have been beautiful, but it would have been worse because some of the greatest things was created out of nothing. Like when you think about the drum machine, the SP1200 or the MPC, you know, the sampling time and the way you had to manipulate the drums and the way you had to create, man, that was hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now the equipment is basically doing it for you. Now when you put on Serato and you do certain things as a DJ, the program is really doing it for you. So you don't really have to do much. So it would have been worse as far as, I don't think that gritty, genuine sound that everybody acts like they don't love, but everybody keeps going back to, when they want a hit, you know, they sample these old records, you know, that probably wouldn't exist because we was creating using the bare minimum as far as technology, you know. So the more technology, the greater the technology, the more the output. But I think a lot of the creative part of it might have suffered. So again, for the documentation, it would have been great. But some legends are great oral traditions, and it's better to be told than seen. You know what I'm saying? Because when people tell a story, although many people like to put their spin on it sometimes and make it in their favor a lot of times, but there's sometimes people telling a story is great. Like when you look at somebody like a Fat Joe, I don't agree with everything he do and say, but he's a great storyteller.
That's true.
He's a great. So if you saw what he was saying, it wouldn't have the same impact as him telling the story. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, it's good that we couldn't see certain things, and it's good that equipment wasn't a certain way, because I think people were actually even more creative back then too, because of the limited resources that we had. You know, you think about, you know, before the 90s, you had dudes taking wires and hooking the shit up to lamp poles and stuff. Like, where did y'all learn to do that at? Like, who idea was it to do that? You know, that takes creativity. But you want to party so bad that you're willing to get electrocuted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's deep when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So now that, you know, dudes are just plugging in the aux cord and all that, it's not the same. And I love it. I love the progression. I love any progression, because progression, it just means growth. I love it. But again, when you're dealing with the creative mind of it, and when you're dealing with by any means necessary to make it happen, that's missing. Now, dudes don't get certain likes, they erase their posts. Now, if you know, dudes don't get certain amount of listens, you know, they take the song down, or they bitching or complaining or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to when you think back then, man. You know, you have stuff like white labels, like records that, yo, only I have this song. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody has this song. And when you think about it, now MP3 travels, you know, but there's a point where, yo, only this individual got this in their crate. You know what I'm saying? Like, only this person has this song. Only this person has this white label. Yo, and I hope they play this, because we don't hear that. And the only way you get to hear it is if you got your tape deck ready, and you just sitting there hoping they play it. Like, it was different moments, you know, that was lost in technology. But then again, technology made hip hop global. So I appreciate it. But again, from the creative standpoint, it definitely suffered a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely not the same from a creative standpoint. You know what I'm saying? I do miss the bare minimum making you be more creative. Because I remember, like, having an SP1200, and it has 10 seconds of sampling time, but it's not a straight 10 seconds. It's like 2.5 on this bank, 2.5 on this bank, 2.5 on this bank. So you got 4 banks with 2.5 that you could sample with, but you still need your kick, snare, and your hi-hat. So although, you know, all of them might only be, you know, 1 second, the kick, snare, and the hi-hat, and the open hi-hat, You know, oh, you got to open, you got to kick snare. Don't have two snares. You know what I'm saying? So it was so much that you was manipulating, doing all this madness just to make a beat, but you were doing it. So that's why producers love Pete Rock. That's why we love Easy Mo B. That's why we love, you know, Jay Dilla and them, because we knew what they were using and how they was making this incredible music with the bare minimum of equipment. Like, the equipment was not designed to do what they were doing. And the fact that they were able to do it with this equipment, we like, yo, did you hear that? Yo, how did he flip that? You know, and that's what music used to be. Now it's just like, oh, he used a sample. All right, he's going to use it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to dig. He didn't have to dig no more. He didn't have to, you know, do nothing incredible. It's just like, oh, he did it. Big bank, take little bank. He's a bigger artist. He's going to take the same sample and use it. You know, back then it was like beat biting. Oh, use that beat. Don't use that beat because he used it. Now everything is like reggae. Somebody come out with a song. You know, all the reggae artists jump on the song. It's the same thing with hip-hop now. You know what I'm saying? If the beat come out, 50,000 people on the beat. You know, it's crazy.
So let me ask you this, because this is something I think, this is my theory. You tell me if you feel correct and give me your spin. Analog is the missing profit that made hip-hop profitable. What do you say?
Repeat that.
Analog is the hidden profit that made hip-hop profitable, that analog sound. Everybody loves the digital, but in my thinking, I'm thinking if it wasn't for the analog, you really didn't understand sound and how sound was put together.
I would agree with that. And again, analog was also a part about it was tough because when you go in the studio, right, you have to format the reel. The reel, it took an hour. So, you know, you young, you don't have a record deal. You paying for your studio time with your allowance, your hustle money. You pooled your resources. You might have took cans back. You might have did whatever to get studio money together. Let's just say that. So your studio time might be $25 to $40 an hour, right? So you can't go in there and book 10 hours. That's $400. You don't got $400. You might have $100 or $200. So what you do, you go in there and you book 4 hours. But now an hour of your studio time is gone because you got to format the reel. So now you only got 3 hours. So that's how deep it was with the analog. But the tape was so warm. The tape was so warm and the bass was so heavy. The bottom was so heavy on the tape. They've since found ways to duplicate that and you know, make it as heavy. But no, we wouldn't definitely have that sound of hip hop if it wasn't for analog. Hell no. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's also the people pushing the buttons, because when I found out that Just Blaze wasn't on the MPC no more, he was just in Logic, I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he's just using straight up Logic now. Like, he's not on hardware anymore, and the beats are still dope and they still knocking. So it's the person touching the buttons. You know what I'm saying? The person touching the buttons know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But now analog was definitely crazy. But again, if it wasn't for digital, hip hop wouldn't be global. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has its pros and its cons, though. You know what I'm saying? It has its pros and its cons, because nothing is like 12 o'clock, that album coming out, and you see dudes online to get your album. Nothing is going to ever beat that. Nothing is ever going to beat that. And that's just from the point of you actually being able to see your fans. Now, you know, you can't really see your fans because everybody's downloading or streaming. Then you have people who stream your joint. Then you have people who stream it and give it to other people. Like, you couldn't do that with albums. You know what I'm saying? You had to actually buy it and so my album was on my album. You gotta get your own. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely different. Definitely the difference.
Yeah, I think just like analog gave way to digital, the camera gave way to the moment. You know, and one of my favorite moments in hip hop, because this is something I've always wanted to do, but you beat me to it. I always wanted to shoot a video for QU Hectic. I think that's my favorite Mobb Deep song on the Infamous album. Because I wanted to pay a tribute to Mobb Deep by shooting a video for QU Hectic. And just to show how the spirit worked and how God worked, you shot the Winter Wars Capadonna scene for the verse. And I was like, God damn it, yo. That's something I really wanted to do too, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, Milk the Cow first though.
Okay, I missed that one. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, Milk the Cow. Yeah, Milk the Cow is first. Milk the Capadonna album. I did Milk the Cow first. I did that years ago.
When you came out with the Winter Wars, I was just like, like somebody finally got it, because that verse stopped hip hop that year. Because everybody was like, who the hell is that? And how's he ripping Wu-Tang? You know what I'm saying? What made you want to do that verse? What sparked that in you?
He asked me to do it because I did Milk the Cow first.
Okay.
So after doing Milk the Cow, he had a skateboard situation that he was doing with not a skateboard, a snowboard situation that he was doing with the snowboard company, the Capadonna Snowboard, and Winter Wars, snowboard, just all made sense. So he wanted me to shoot the video because he knew I shot videos. And when he asked me to do it, I'm like, hell yeah, you know, listen, say no more, like, and you know, we went and we did it, and it was just like, yo, man, I'm solidified. I'm a part of hip hop history. You know
Definitely. See, the thing about the Doggie Diamonds TV and ForbesDVD.com, the thing that always set you apart and made me really gravitate towards your platform is, number one, you reminded me of Ralph McDaniels, because the people I really wanted to hear from, I didn't see. Like, let me put it to you like this. I'm an avid hip hop connoisseur. Like, me and you, off the record, probably have some deep conversations. Of course, you'll be teaching me, but maybe I could teach you something too, and then we could really look at each other like, yo, you know your shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I felt about Ralph. My favorite, and I'm telling you, this is crazy. My favorite, I have two favorite episodes of Video Music Box. One was the conversation they had with J. Rue the Damager and the Fugees, and Crazy Sam talked about the cipher, and they talked about the knowledge itself. And Lauryn Hill had to fight to get into the conversation because J. Rue kept shutting her down. I ain't like that, but that conversation really showed the depth of Video Music Box, because it was a show that wasn't afraid to show you how people battle for knowledge and respect in a cipher, like we do on the corners when we talk. You know what I'm saying? And my other favorite episode, and I have many favorites, but these two are ones that stand out to me the most, is the one where MOP was on it. And the first time, they was sitting in the studio. And when MOP came on, I was like, God, it's MOP. It's MOP. And my brother's like, so what? I was like, when the last time you heard an MOP record? He's like, I don't even know what MOP is. I said, exactly. And they're the hottest group out right now. How about some hardcore? It's tough. And he's like, I don't even know what that song is. I was like, you seen House Party? Listen to the soundtrack. I mean, I wanted that soundtrack for How About Some Hardcore. Going back to the original point, though.
I never knew that was on there.
Yeah, they Select Records. They did that was Kid and Play actually brought them out on that soundtrack. So I was like,
I know who Select Records is, but I never knew I never knew that was on there. See,
I told Doggie Diamonds something. Yo, that's what's up. So yeah, like MOP being on there was big to me. So then when I go to ForbesDVD.com or Doggie Diamonds TV, I got Ali Vegas right there. I get Sonny Chiba right there. I get people who's in the background, quote unquote background of the game that I loved, that I really didn't get to hear from, like King Just. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, that's what hip hop is. What made you format your media to be what it is and not just be the next, I'm not going to say the next Video Music Box, the next Pump It Up or the next Rap City or something? What made you make your platform what it is?
I always felt like you had a lot of unsung heroes in hip hop. So for me, I always wanted to, when I would see certain dudes, I'd just be sitting there like, yo, whatever happened to such and such? And then I just always sort them out. So I always felt like people had a story. What is this story? Like, what are they about? And believe it or not, yo, I used to get dissed for that. He only interviewed has-beens. He only interviewed never was. Yo, I would hear every battle line, everything you could hear about who I was interviewing. But I loved the culture, and I was like, yo, nah, he made a song I like. That's good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? I was always on that type of time. So if somebody made a song I like, I want to do an interview with them. It wasn't about whether they got a new song out or whatever, or if they had a backstory, because, hip hop is learning. So a lot of times somebody would do something and I want to know what it was about. You know what I'm saying? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did your career end? Or what was the heights of your career? Because I always felt like a lot of times everything was a teachable moment. You know what I'm saying? For me. And I needed to learn, so why not get it directly from the horse's mouth? And then being a fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow, yo, I just got to interview, you know what I'm saying? I just got to interview such and such, or I just got to interview this person. I just got to interview that person, because I'm also getting to meet them, and I'm also get to tell them how much of a fan I am of theirs, you know what I'm saying? So, to give them the flowers thing, like I say, I like when Nori say it, but he know where he get that from, because I did it for him. You know what I'm saying? Like when nobody really was like, when you remember at one point you see a lot of interviews of Nori, it was me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was me interviewing him. It was me interviewing, a lot of guys that people, to me personally, was wrote off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that people so-called didn't care about. I was like, nah, man, he made a banger. He made a record that was incredible. Like we definitely gotta salute them. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gotta pay homage to them. And that's really what it was with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just more of a, yo, man, I remember where I was at when this song came out. Yeah, I remember when you did this, I was here, and then just get to meet the person and build and just deal with the mental aspect and the mind state of people. That's very, very important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like very, very important to me, to be able to talk to them, because again, no matter where I'm at in this game, always gonna feel like a student, so a lot of times, seeing people do things is like, yo, man, like, how did you do that? And how did you do this? How did you do that? You know what I'm saying? How did you do this? And for somebody to give you the game is very, very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very important for somebody to give you the game and just say, well, I did this, or even the pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? So I remember just listening to like, this is it, huh? Lucini falling from the sky, this is it, huh? And then, yo, you want to interview Sonny Chiba? It's like, hell yeah, I want to interview Sonny Chiba. Why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? So that's stuff like that has always been, important to me. You know what I'm saying? To really, really, to interview these people again that had a definite influence on my life. So that's what made me want to do that, because I never really was into, oh, this person is out, so I got to go interview them because they got a hot song, or this person, I got to interview this person because they're doing a press run. Nah, I want to create the narrative. I want to change the story. I don't want to go with the story. If a person, say Tom is dropping an album today, Tom is going to do 20 interviews and do 20 of the same interviews. I didn't never want to be in that. I wanted to go against that. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you got 15 minutes to ask him whatever you want to ask him, and then he's on to the next interview. I never liked that. I never wanted to be in that, so I would always, go outside of the norm. And then you started seeing people do that. You know what I'm saying? The things that I was getting dissed for, other people was getting praise for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because and it is always like that. You know what I'm saying? It is always like that. It is what it is. But that was definitely, for me, like I definitely wanted to, just do something different. I didn't want to go with what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, man, I'm a fan of the culture first. So, man, where's King Just at? You know what I'm saying? Where's this person at? And because I like, again, I like the music, you know what I'm saying? I like the culture. So, getting to meet these people and work with these people and ask them questions was big for me. You know what I'm saying? That was very, very big for me. That's why, I would interview these people, and people would be like, man, what you interviewing him for? Like, man, you crazy. That's such and such, you know what I'm saying? Or that's, this person or that person. And, it's a teachable moment. Like when I interviewed Smooth the Hustler, and he said, he wrote Ain't No, N-word verse for, Foxy Brown. Is like, what?
Yeah, right.
Like that? It's like, this is what we love about hip hop, but you also have to remember what we love about hip hop and what we love about the culture is pretty much gone. People don't care anymore about those things. You know what I'm saying? People don't care anymore about, those moments, because everything is about, clout. Everything is about that moment of, how could I say, everything is about, that moment of sensationalism. So, the little backstories don't matter when it's not beef. You know what I'm saying? When it's not an issue, people don't care. It's not always about beef. It's just like, yo, what? Hold on. So you said Big Pun was supposed to be on Sparkle? Like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Imagine. That's how I am. Like I said, I'm still a fan. I'm still almost like a childlike with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm still like, yo, I can't believe, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Maybe I'm alone with that. I'm never going to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always going to love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always going to love it the way, the way that I did. But, it's definitely different, man. It's definitely different.
Yeah, you're not alone, because I share the same sentiments. Like me, I'm from Jersey. So Jersey has its own hip hop story that is Brooklyn is dope, Queens is dope, New York is dope, but New York don't fuck with us for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
Well, y'all always been like New York's stepchild, like the
right, because New York is the media capital. And anything outside of New York is second.
Yep.
And for me to do heritage hip hop, it was like nobody's telling Jersey's story. So the way you felt interviewing Big Daddy Kane and Sonny Chiba, I feel that way interviewing Double O. I feel that way learning about our people right now. Like I want to interview K-Def one day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff.
That's one of my favorite producers. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, like Real Life Shit remix is classics, but nobody talks about them.
Killer Sin was off on
that too. By the way, Killer Sin, one of the best MCs that nobody talk about by far. Right. I'm gonna put that out there because I was listening to Killer Army the other day, and this guy's wordplay, to Sam Soldiers of Darkness, to Feel It, to the Shootout. Like this guy was amazing. But back to what we was talking about, we have a responsibility as media to not give people what they want. We have to give them depth so they appreciate what they have. That's why even in history, people are so damn butthurt on wanting to know what the hieroglyphics mean. Because that civilization is gone, but that thing right there tells a story of greatness that people have lost that they want to know about. And I'm afraid hip-hop is gone.
The appreciation is gone, though, because you got to understand, right? The mentality that you have, I had that from the inception, and I still do to a certain extent. But listen, not too many people care about hip hop. It's very few of us, right? So as I'm sitting here trying to, be Mr. Hip Hop and keep everything hip hop and for the culture, you got dudes so-called blowing past me and doing this and doing that, and then dudes get to talk about their numbers and all that. And when you don't have certain numbers or you don't have certain things, you kind of looked at like, you looked at like a clown. You know what I'm saying? You looked at like nobody rocks with you. Like you're not important. You're not relevant. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm sitting here trying to preserve the culture and I'm interviewing Smooth the Hustler and all that, you have people like Vlad, and I don't want to act like I'm picking on him or talk about him too much, but you have him. He could interview somebody who talked about robbing a bank. And that'll get 9 million views. But, King Just to talk about, being compared to Old Dirty and what Old Dirty said to him and give you stories or, something about old dirty that you're not gonna hear, and nobody cares about that because the train wreck is more important than the lesson of hip hop. So what happens is, we're stuck in a compromised position. It was a website called Ambrosia for Heads that was just straight up hip hop, straight up.
Great.
I think they closed down. I think they shut down.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All hip hop. That was a straight up hip hop. I used to go there, look at stuff. I used to go there, do different things. I mean, they're gone now.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone now. So now, what do we have?
Doggie Diamonds TV, ForbesDVD.com,
Yeah,
Heritage Hip Hop.
Yeah, we do. Listen, we do. We do have those things. You are right and exact. But again, I'm not in here I didn't come into the game to be living obscurity either.
Facts.
I didn't come in the game to be number one, because that doesn't really mean anything to me. But I didn't come in the game to be living obscurity. And you got to remember, people die from the lack of appreciation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
you got to
fact.
know what you're doing is being received. You got to know what you're doing people actually care about, because if not, what are you doing it for? So if you cooked and nobody ate, what did you cook for?
Right.
The thrill of cooking is people saying, great meal. You really, that hit the spot. So again, in comparison to what we do, what people say, yo, I'm cooking up. So if you cooking and nobody eat what you cook, you ain't gonna cook.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is people come out like, when you stop, like, what you stop for? Why you do that? And like, well, where was you when you was? No, I get it.
Absolutely, you are absolutely right. But fuck those people. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I always told people, yo, I'm independent black media. Yo, I need your help. I need money, man. I just started getting sponsors. You know what I mean? I just started getting sponsors. I just started all that after 14 years. I just started getting sponsors. So now I'm in a situation where I'm doing my thing, and it's like I could have been fell off the wagon, because there's times where I woke up like, yo, man, I ain't doing this no more, man. What am I, why am I driving myself crazy trying to, do all of this content for people? Yeah, people acting like what I'm doing ain't nothing. People just overlooking me. And you could really, really get, you could really get tired of that. You could really, again, without appreciation, what are you? If you cook and nobody eat, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things too. So I definitely love the fact that I get acknowledgement, but I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna keep it real with you, and I would be full of it if I didn't. I wish I had the capital gain to go along with some. I don't even care about the notoriety. I wish I just had the money. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. No, I get it. Yeah. What we do is not that much different for what's on TV, and our content is better.
Yeah, like, I wish I had the money.
Me personally, I will attest to that, because doing Heritage Hip Hop, I found out how much people want to be popular and not be successful. And I realized there's a lot of people who do music but don't create music. And part of creation is the process of music. Like, you know how many people, and I know you probably had this, you done an interview with somebody, they don't even share their interview. They're just like, whatever, I just did that.
Well, I just put a post up today saying that, about how the Instagram models are on Instagram saying follow her. Some of these women never even met, but they're saying follow each other, and they're, supporting each other because they have their own community. And there's people who I've shot videos for, did interviews for, that don't even follow me on social media, or have never told anybody to follow me. They've never shared the interview. They've never did anything to support. They act like they don't even know me.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me.
I know. I mean, 'cause shout out to those who do say something and help. That's what's up. But what you're talking about is what the Black Wall Street was built off of. It's called cooperative economics. And I said that to everybody. I said, yo, you know, porn stars got the world on lock. And I said, you know why? I said, you know why porn stars always make it? And people think it's just 'cause of sex. And I'm like, no, word of mouth is the best form of advertisement you could ever have. And if you have somebody who look good as hell and success, it's look good as hell, bad as hell, like I'm sexy, but she's sexy too. You're gonna look. And even if you don't like it, you're gonna look.
You know
what I'm saying?
Right now, you are preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I know.
I've been saying this for too long, bro, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I gave up. I gave up on because, you know, again, I hate to bring color in it, but when it comes to our people, we look at each other and we look at each other with disdain. We don't look at each other with pride and joy and say, damn, the bro is winning. That's great. We wait till we get there to salute, or we wait till they die. But the come up, the rise, man, we stand back and watch people smother and die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like to give the analogy of you being in the boat, or rather you being on like a tube in the ocean. And that's what life is. Life is a big ocean, and you're either gonna sink or you're going to swim. So you in the ocean on this damn tube trying to stay afloat, and somebody ride past in a big yacht and say, yo, what's good, bro? And you're like, yo, you see me, I'm out here struggling, I'm trying to stay afloat. They're like, all right, yo, stay strong, and they speed off. That's what all this is. Everybody watches you. Everybody sits back and watch you. Then when you die, they be like R.I.P. or they post pictures with you and all that. Nah, don't do that, because I ain't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? You didn't fuck with me. And I don't want nobody to give me anything. I don't want anybody to give me money. I don't want anybody to give me anything. But what I work for and what I do, I need acknowledgement for it, and I need word of mouth. I need push. I need support on what I'm doing. If you love hip hop and I'm doing something to contribute to the culture, why are you talking about my contribution? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree full-heartedly. So then, understanding that, part of why I say hip-hop is not where it could be or should be, besides paying homage, is that hip-hop is not responsible enough. And that no matter what we've been through, be it Biggie and Pac's untimely demise, being that we lost people to health reasons or violence, even jail, murder, we're not being responsible to how we police our own culture and even dictate the narrative of our culture. What is the responsibility of a hip-hop journalist, in your opinion?
To push hip-hop. I mean, when we started Forbes, we wanted to give, you know, it would say Sky Zoo interview. You know, but then I was like, me and Rec was like, well, we just put Sky Zoo interview. Some people are going to be like, who is Sky Zoo? So we have to make the headline juicy of Sky Zoo speaks on. We started that. Nobody was doing that before. We started that whole, I mean, you could go online and look at the archives and look at all these other websites that was out, whether it was All Hip Hop, Hip Hop DX been around for a while, Vlad TV didn't exist. It would just say the interview with the person would be no headline. As a journalist, the thing is to preserve the culture and give people the culture. Now, sometimes you got to give people what they want in order to give them what they need. I understand that 100%. So that's why, you know, sometimes I had stuff on there that might have been a little risque, or some stuff on there that was like, you know, what the hell is this all about? But I looked at it like, okay, you got a girl on here with a nice cake. Maybe after you look at that booty, you click on this Farrakhan video.
Right.
You know, because balance is everything.
Mhm.
Everything. And you can't have a biased opinion. And you got to always be willing to get both sides. Like when I do interviews and somebody's going at somebody, and I always give the other person the opportunity to respond. It just so happens that they get mad and start acting like, you know, hoes, and they're not talking to me anymore, and they're like, I care, you know what I'm saying? Or they're mad at me. So now they don't want to, you know, now they don't rock on my platform. But I watch other people in other parts of the culture do it all the time, and they get away with it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They get away with it. So, you know, at the end of it all, it's like, you know, we in a tough position because I'm not trying to be like Ambrosia for heads. You know, I seen what they was doing. I like what they was doing. They actually even covered one of my Pete Rock interviews, and I was, you know, thankful to them. I followed them on social media and all that. But it's like, damn, it's like this is one of the last platforms that's like, you know, real, authentic hip hop. Like this is, you know, this is all about hip hop. You know, and look what happens. They fold. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's a time thing, but it probably was a financial thing. It's tough. Server fees are a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of money, you know, hundreds. And when you don't have no sponsors, you don't have no sponsorships, you're not in ad networks, you're not in all this stuff, how do you maintain? How are you paying to give other people hip hop?
Yeah.
And you're not earning nothing.
I get it. Believe me, I get it.
Yeah.
I do.
It doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
But even with that responsibility we have, too much of the narrative is the same. She's sexy, and it's either the implants or the twerking.
Mm-hmm.
He's dope because he's hot right now. Not because he's hot. He's hot right now. To the point where, with the grand awakening that's been prophesied since the 90s of what the world is right now, I was proud of you. Let me first say this. I don't know if as a man, other people tell you they're proud of you. I was proud of you for actually not only giving people what they think they want, but you also talked about yourself by giving them about how you gotten healthy. That you showed the maturity of hip-hop as well. Why was that important to you?
I mean, we're at a point where when we talk about hip-hop, the hip-hop that we knew is gone. It's been invaded. It's been taken over by corporate America. It's a lot of money in it. It's billions of dollars, $1 billion industry. Hip-hop is the biggest genre of music. Everything has hip-hop. Every jingle, every commercial, whether it could be a damn State Farm commercial, it's some hip hop inspired drums playing in the background. It is what it is. So for me, I'm like, yo, man, I didn't come in this game to die. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't, like I want to be around. I want to see what's happening, and you can be an inspiration to many people. You know what I'm saying? If you just tell your story, my story is crazy. You know what I'm saying? In a good way and in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? But I always tell people I'm a victim of nothing but a survivor of many things. You know what I'm saying? And I know for the fact of how it is for people to lose hope. And I know what it's like to be at that point where it's like, yo, I'm ready to tap out. But you know, there's only one way to tap out. You know what I'm saying? And to overcome those thoughts, to overcome, you know, those parts in your life, it's tough as hell.
Yeah.
So then you go through a rebirthing period where you say, you know what? I'm gonna change the way I think. I'm gonna change the way I look. I'm gonna change the way I carry myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna take control of my life. And part of taking control of your life is your health.
Right.
So that was one of the things for me. I never, when I started on my lifestyle change, I never did it for clout. I never made a post. I never said, you know, starting tomorrow. I never did any of those things because I was doing it for me.
Right.
I wasn't doing it for nobody else. I was doing it for me. It's my journey. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times we keep forgetting that a lot of times when you speak about your journey and you speak about the things that you want to do and you're going to do, there's going to be many people who try to deter you from doing it.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand, so they're fearful for you, and some people don't want to see you accomplish anything, so they try to discourage you. Now, I don't live off of fear. Whatever's going to happen, going to happen. I don't want anything, traumatic to happen, but that's life. And I'm going to live and I'm going to learn. I'm going to lick my wounds and get up and go at it another day. That's just life. You know what I mean? So when people do stuff or when people say stuff, I don't live off of fear. I'll be like, yo, I'm going to make it happen. When me and Rec was talking about starting Forbes DVD, people really looked at me like I was out of my mind. Like, what are you talking about? Internet, website? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Then the proof is in the pudding. Then when you do it, everybody's like, well, I'm going to get me a website. I'm going to do me a website.
Word. Yeah.
Instead of them saying, yo, I see what you're doing.
Yo, salute,
I like
right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Salute. How could I get behind that? How could I help push you? Because in pushing you, now I got a home. In pushing you, now, now I know I got a home base for my content. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that. The first thing they do is want to compete with you because they look at you and they say, well, he ain't shit. If he can do it, I could do it. Yeah. I had somebody in my comments before say to me, when I announced that I did the deal with CBS Intercom, I had somebody in my comments say, if you got a deal with CBS, I know I could get one because you ain't shit.
That's crazy.
That was just, but this is the mentality of our people.
But that's how you know you made it right there. That's the sick shit about that is that's when you know you made it.
Special announcement. That is the end of this part of the interview. I told you this one gets heavy, and Doggie Diamonds is somebody I study, and this was a very long conversation. So we're going to come back with part 2 soon on heritagehiphop.com. So for all those waiting to see and hear more, stay plugged because we got a lot more to talk about on this great interview. Once again, thank you for supporting Heritage Hip Hop. We are growing and we are growing with you. We introduce your new favorite artists to you that you have not heard before. So in honor of those who do hip hop media, we want to salute you for bringing us the artists that changed the world. The Samaj Savages, the Jay Wonders, the David Barrs, Bon One Millies, Tierra Wax, all these people who come into the hip hop genre unknown that the hip hop media makes known. Thank you for helping us do that. And if you want to continue to support us, please go to www.heritagehiphop.com and become members of our website and get some of this free music and hear some more great interviews. You can also support us by buying our apparel at www.storefrontier.com/heritage hip hop. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, onesies, and all types of apparel that you can help spread the word and support our brand as well by wearing our apparel. All money that we're giving goes towards building this network and building this brand so we can bring you uncut, raw, appreciative hip-hop culture that goes in depth to expose more than music and beats, but the depth and the intelligence of the artist. We'd like to give a shout out to our partners. Thank you to Fatty's Place, FADDYSPLACE on Instagram. That helps with our social media presence. If you're looking for a better social media presence, which is called virtual assisting, you could contact Fatty's Place on Instagram. We'll give a shout out to MC and businessman Firejaws, FIREJAWS on Instagram, who's built Wildfire Marketing that teaches promotion, placement, and marketing to all artists who would like to build their brands. Contact him at Firejaws on Instagram. Diamonds Entertainment LLC, DIEMENZ Entertainment LLC, which talks about clothing, sports, and the other sides of hip-hop that's beyond music, but still touches the beats every now and then. Also, my partner Adiyar, AHDAYAR, on YouTube. We have a show called The Big A Show, which I am the co-host. You can support my man. He does excellent work with media. He's been in the game And he knows what it is not only to entertain, but to touch on entertainment topics that are meaningful and endearing to the ear. If you're looking to get your credit done, please remember, talk to Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy world, and also the credit repair world. You can contact them at www.transparentcreditrepair.com and call them at 862-250-5122 and tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you. Once again, this is Karev signing off for this part of our interview with Doggie Diamonds. But I'll tell you, stay tuned, because the next one, not only do we close it out, but we go out on the high note. So to everybody out there listening, we say peace and we out.